What's up, fight fans? Your boy P. Welsh here, bringing to you UFC Fight Night from Louisiana. Holloway versus Poirier retirement fight, man. BMF unofficial title bout. 10-2 last week, late on the video this week. Interesting card bringing us from the Smoothie King, Superdome. Actually, it's next to the Superdome. But we're going to start off in the women's flyweight division. We got Carly Judas versus Nicole Kalare. Judas 4-2 versus 8-3 Kalari, coming off a win. Judas lost Kalari, and 4 inches on the height, 6 inches on the reach for Judas here. Which if she keeps it on the feet, standing at distance, and controls the fight with striking, is in prime position for the win and is favored to do so. Cagliari is going to have to get this fight to the ground and be able to work some ground game and get Judas into positions that she hasn't really been taken into. It's kind of how you see this fight going. I kind of like, if you want to take a flight, it would be dog or pass. Cagliari on this one. I think she does have a pathway to takedowns and a submission, and at least control part of the fight. Because if Judas can't stop it, then that's her game. But I mean, Judas has really good stand up. She's got really good, striking technique, distance control, and I think, she's always in the fight. I think this will be a close fight, but I think her volume and striking will be the difference in more rounds than not. I'm going Judas with the official pick, but I can see Cagliari getting a sub and some control time potential and stealing an upset. Next up, middleweight bout, we got Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVee. Ferreira 13-2, coming off a win, standing 5'10", 72-inch reach. McVee 6'0", 6'4", 77-inch reach, making his UFC debut. Rescheduled from Dumas and somebody else. They didn't even put it up there. Interesting matchup here. I mean, I think McVee's live to get a win. Definitely on his could throw potential in there, but Bruno Ferreira is one of those guys that's going to win moments. If he's going to catch you on the, on the chin, you're likely able to go out. And that's where I think this fight was welterweight. If this fight is middleweight, McVee coming in, I think it might not be the best start for him. I mean, I like Bruno Ferreira. I like Jackson McVee. I really want to be on him here. I think he's actually live for, I think Ferreira struggles with guys that are lengthy, right? Like he struggled against Abus and Ruzaboyev. He can get caught at distance quite easily. He's really good inside the pocket, dealing with these guys that kind of got glass jaws. Phil Hawes, Stoltzfus, Petrosian. Guys that can all be finished. Even RoboCop, too. He caught RoboCop with that left, put it on him. That being said, man, I don't know. I guess the pick has got to be Ferreira here, but I wouldn't be surprised if McVee again steals an upset. This is one where I'm just gonna pick chalk. This card is so weird. There's so many heavy favorites in there that it's like gonna be like you're gonna have to pick some spots where some underdogs could come through. I think there's like maybe 2 to 3 spots. This could be one of them, but I think it could also be really close and, go to the judges' scorecards. This also could be a finish either way. I think it's a great matchup, especially on short notice in a division that we got to see where McVee can come in there looking sharp anyway. He looks like a finisher, looks like a striker, and if he can come in there and lay the volume and on Ferreira, he can be kind of pieced up over time. He's more of a big moments guy but absolutely can rock a guy. He's at any moment live for the win, so should be an exciting bout. Don't miss it. Next up, heavyweights, clashing Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. Spann 22-11 versus Brzeski 9-6-1 with a no contest. Both guys coming off a loss, 2 inches on the height, 1 inch on the reach for Spann here against Brzeski. Yeah, so bro, if Ryan Spann doesn't win this fight, like I don't know how I can pick Lucas Brzeski here, right? After losing to Zinchenko, after losing the parking, getting flatlined, somehow beating Walter Vauger. I mean, that was a decision win. They valued his striking, but if you run that back, man, my guy's been on a bad streak. And I mean, if Ryan Spann can't put you out here, I mean, don't forget Ryan Spann put out Dominic Reyes, so still 33 years old. Cortez Acosta is no guy to he got pretty tired there. 9:48, into the fight, he got caught and couldn't get his hands up and just finished. I think it could be a chance for a win here. I never really want to pick it. For Ryan Spann, this is super sweaty. I think Bresky can definitely be live for a KO. Might be worth like taking a big chance on it with like, I think one thing that is super live here, or like somebody like this could be a Bresky finish, which something that might be worth a little sprinkle on just because of the situation with Spann just giving up and having a glass jaw. Yeah, so I mean the official pick is Spann, but I might hedge a little funds on Bresky by KO just because if I could just see Spann just getting caught, and then not just getting up in time and it's just over. So if Bresky has a pathway to victory, it is through the KO. It's about the only way I can see him. I mean, unless these guys just fight a boring fight, which I could also see. So we'll go pick Ryan Spann. Don't knock me. Don't let me down, dude. Another one. Similar matchup, in my opinion. Light heavyweight bout. Jimmy Crute, 12-4-2 versus Marcin Pracino, 17-8. Crute coming off another draw. Incredible. The only draw that we've had since the channel started was Jimmy Crute. Had one against Menefield. That was against Rodolfo Bellato. Freaking no contest upkick, man. Against Marcin Pracino, who he just got finished by Bukakis in the third round. Just flat out finished. Arm triangle. I mean, Jimmy Crute's got to get it done here. This is another one. It's just like, dude, what are we gonna see here? Is going to be utterly incredible. I mean, Jimmy Crute can definitely get beat up and knocked down, but I think it would be a stand him up kind of fight. And I think both of these guys live to finish, but live to get a decision as well. And it just being super sweaty, super split. I'm going Jimmy Crute just because I actually think Jimmy Crute's a better fighter. I actually think he wins like a lot of moments in fights. He also loses a lot of moments, but I don't think Pracino's one of those guys to super capitalize and necessarily finish Jimmy. Not like Jimmy Crute gets finished like that. You know what I mean? He's a tough son of a gun, right? 2 draws, 4 losses. He did get finished by a minute, but he has been finished kind of a little bit, but all 4 of his losses are by finish. Darn. Jimmy Crute, ladies and gentlemen, is the official pick. Pracino could finish him too. I have no idea, man. These are some freaking... They got me scratching here. Last up, welterweight bout. Adam Fugit, 10-4 versus Islam Durlatov. Is this the model? This is the model guy, right? Fugit, 10-4. Durlatov, 11-1. Coming off a win on the Contender Series by elbow. Finisher extraordinaire, and should get the job done here. Is a big favorite, I believe. We take a look at that. Durladov minus 625 should tell you everything you need to know about this. And yeah, I expect Durladov under 1.5, something like that. I expect him to get it done pretty fast. It's I think Fugit's pretty tough, but I also think he can get finished. Even early second round, just make a little bit of an adjustments. Give him, even Durladov and then the fight not to start round 3, give him that extra 2.5 minutes. I think it'd really be something. Yeah, I think this is a good spot for Durladov to make his debut, a spot to remember, spot for him to get a finish inside the distance. Again, one of those things where, like, you never know if the guy's going to sub or get the knockout, especially these super dangerous guys. Like, this is something that I want to just be thinking about as I break down, like, even as we go into this, it's like these guys, it's like I kind of just want to take some of them inside. You just take it a little more safe. Like, I just think this guy inside the distance against Fugit is just what we're going to see, man. He's just going to get an interview, talk about what it's like to be here. Exciting fight. I think Durladov's the guy like that. So let's see what happens. Let's bring it on. Next up, the middleweight bout. Atebe Guetter versus Robert Valentin. Guetter, 7-1, coming off a win, 6'4". 81-inch reach, and then Robert Valentine, 11-5, coming off a loss, 6'2", 77-inch reach, and I think Guetter is the most bet on man this week, which I guess is more of a fade against Valentine, just because he literally did very little against Torres Finney and Ryan Loder. Like, it just seems like it's definitely a situation that I kind of get. So Gaeter definitely was the official pick, probably by finish. It's not. This is not a spot where I definitely think Valentin's in a situation to survive a lot. I think these could be back-to-back finishes right here. Seriously, could be exciting ways. And yeah, I like to see. I like both those guys. I like both these fights not to start round 3. And Derladov and Gaeta are both big-time favorites to get finishes. It just seems like sometimes we get on rolls with some of these finishes. Other fight cards, a lot of finishes. I think sometimes there just doesn't seem like there's gonna be everybody. It's a big day. It's a big day, so people are gonna want to try and earn some extra cash. And I can see my guy paying out a lot of people if there's a lot of finishes. I can see a monster card, dude. The New Orleans guys can get some voodoo magic down there, get some finishes, some people going to sleep. Next up, welterweight fight. Francisco Prado, 12-3 versus Nikola Vernenikov, 12-6. Both guys coming off a loss. Vernenikov with 3-inch, with 2-inch height advantage, 5 inches on the reach, and yeah, I think this is another Vernenikov spot. But I think this fight might go to the decision. Prado is one of those guys that's gonna win moments, but lose minutes. So is it going to be one of those spots where he gets the job done? He's super durable. It's going to be tough to see Verenikov get anything but a decision win, in my opinion, just because I think he'll be able to do a lot of damage, control the fight in a good amount of ways, and use whatever he wants to kind of force around Prado. That's kind of the thing. Like, this kind of reminds me of stylistic matchup of Mota versus Saidukov from a couple weeks ago. And I just think Verenikov, he's going to have to put on the volume, because if he doesn't, and if he doesn't win by... And Prado's just got a punchable chin, dude. He just doesn't have great head movement. Just throws and stays. He's never, like, rolling off of stuff. So, I'm always going to pick the Kazakhstan guy. 0-2 in the UFC for my guy Verenikov, and I think he's going to bounce back with a win. I definitely think it's a decision win. Could be very close, split decision even. I think this could be like I said, extremely close fight. It's one of the only one of the closer closer odds on the books. And yeah, man, I just think there are a couple situations here where there's going to be a little bit, I don't know, I just taking a chance here. I like Prado a lot. I just don't like him in these kind of spots. You got to like him in a place where a guy that's, not desperate too, like he's got, and he just leaves it on the line as well, and he's not afraid to get hit, right? He has been finished too, but who's this guy? So yeah, we're just rocking that win, lose or draw. We're taking Verenikov, even though I think Prado is a really good fighter. I just don't think he's a strong enough favorite to be I just think it's actually like really 50-50 toss up. Really think it's a close fight. Either go either way. Next up, what a freaking matchup here. The Casino Brawl Royale. Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. Vettori, 19-8-1, coming off a loss, standing 6 foot against Brendan Allen, 24-7, coming off a loss, 6'2", 1-inch reach advantage, and yeah, I think I'm in the minority here. I'm going Vettori, dude. I just think desperation. Also, like he lost his brother recently in an accident, coming off the Roman Dolezdi fight, losses to Cannonier. I just think he's gonna show up and look good today. I don't know. I don't want to pick against Brendan Allen. I think he's gonna be a little deflated. Allen and Vettori can come in here, and we've known Brendan to kind of lump up and get a few stinkers in there. He lost to Hernandez, lost to Imavov, barely beat Curtis, so if you think about it, he has been on a good run here, but I think this is kind of a good time to fade Allen as well. It's just like, is the Vettori the guy that's actually going to get finished? Is he actually going to get subbed? He's got such good striking balance. I don't know, man. I'm on Vettori here, also Italian pride, but I just think he's going to fight with a little extra desperation, and I think Allen, as great as he is, has kind of not been on the better end in some of these higher end matchups. And I think Vettori's very high end. There's no doubt about it. If he's not, I think he ranks somewhere 5 to 10 in the middleweight in the entire world, and I think against anybody in that on any given day, they can go win against one another, right? Dolezdi, Vittori, Allen, some of these guys that are up in there too, Cannonier. And I mean, I think somebody like Fluffy's better, Rainier, Costa. These guys go fight Costa would be great matchups. As they start, as we get up to Boralo, Imavov, Chimaev, Duplessis, these guys, they're probably definitely beating Vittori's and Allen's, right? But until we get there, I think this is one of those matchups that it can go either way. And I'm actually I'm picking Vittori here. I really am just thinking he's going to win the striking exchanges. He's going to look better on his feet. And if Allen can't get him down, get him on his back, and get the tap, then, I mean, I can't really anticipate him winning on the scorecard. Is this one really going to be finished like that too? Like, these guys don't get finished. If I get that Allen is the one that does get some subs. Vittori has never been finished, and I think it's kind of like pick your poison here. I think this one goes to the scorecards. I think it could be really sweaty split decision. I think there's a few of those on the card as well this week. This is one of them. I'm taking Vittori by split decision. Super greasy, super close, but I think he gets the better of it. Some exchanges. I think he gets some huge moments. And I think he wins with some kicks. You watch the kick game in here. I think if he can balance the kicks and not get taken down, that's Vittori's going to be. If he can do damage with them. I love Allen, though. I hate picking against him, bro. He'd probably win. I hate picking against Allen. That being said. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, the feature prelim. Kyler Phillips, 12-3, coming off a loss versus Vinicius Oliveira, 22-3, coming off a win. A little bit of a reach advantage, 1 inch on the height for Oliveira. And, I was super big on the Kyler Phillips train, and yeah, it's derailed, and I'm off of it right now. I'm not sold, and he's gonna have to beat Oliveira to sell me because I'm an Oliveira guy, and I just think he's dangerous. He's lethal. He's balanced, and I think he's pretty big for bantamweight as well. Very solid. He hasn't really faced. This is the best competition he's faced in terms of being able to, not get out. Dude, this one's tough. I like Oliveira. I'm struggling. I think Phillips does have a path to victory in terms of outpointing him, outclassing him on the feet. But he did just lose to Robbie Font, right? Or is that Dan Ige? I can't even remember. Robbie Font on a fight night, and very unimpressed with that performance. I was very high on him, and the fact that he couldn't get the better of somebody like Rob Font makes me think that he's like super athletic against certain guys that present certain kind of matchups. But once you face him with somebody that doesn't have weaknesses to that has mirrors or can mirror it or strength against it, I think that's where he struggles, right? And I think that's where he got outclassed was in terms of techniques and skill, athleticism, something that you have never seen from one of his fights. He's always looking more. I mean, his name's the Matrix, bro. He's trying to Neo in there and move, and it was very mechanical how he lost to Robbie Font, right? It was very technical, and it proved something that you're gonna have to get over if you're not just better than them, right? I think that's the situation that Kyler faced up until the last fight. Everybody he's fought, he's just been way better than. Just clearly, just more athletic, more talented. And Robbie Font's the first guy that actually is maybe just as tough, if not tougher than him, that he ever fought. 38 years old, 20-fight UFC veteran, you know what I mean? There's just been in some wars, and not afraid there. And So I think that's why he can have a good rebound and has a chance for an edge. Oliveira's never fought somebody that's even challenged themselves into this level, right? Syed, Ricky Samoon, and Sopa. But all that being said, Oliveira's rise to the challenge, and I think he can sneak in a sub here somehow. I don't know. I'm really high on Oliveira. I think he gets a win here as well. I think he's got... I don't even want to say he can finish him because I really can't imagine Phillips getting finished, right? He's never been finished. So it's also one of those that, this is the situation, right? It's like these guys that never been finished. I'm never gonna pick them to get finished. Just never gonna do it. But I do think Oliveira does get the decision win. It might be something that I'm worth exploring on a personal level here. But super exciting matchup, bantamweight fight. Might be the best division because sometimes you get some of the best athletes in the bantamweight division because like a lot of them, they're not really tall enough to play professional sports, so this is like their best opportunity into high level competition. Or some of the bantamweights. So super excited. Vinicius Oliveira is the official pick. Moving on to the main card, ladies and gentlemen, lightweight bout. Michael Johnson, 24-19, coming off a win, standing 5'10", against Daniel Zellhuber, 15-2, coming off a loss on Noche to Esteban Rabovic. And yeah, I think that was at welterweight. So interesting to see Zellhuber go back, cut down to lightweight for this fight. Canceled Brenner, canceled Hubbard, both lightweights, I believe. Prado's a welterweight too. That was one of his former matchups. So is this gonna permanent move to lightweight for Zellhuber? I really do think so. Kind of going for that Baja Mondays angle, and I think I want to pick Michael Johnson here. I really do. I think he's got a chance. I think anytime Michael Johnson has a puncher's chance, I think Zellhuber struggles with head movement as well. Kind of reminds me a little stand-up-ish like Patty. Really tall and lengthy for the division and doesn't necessarily relies on their length. And somebody that could get through that length and absolutely put some punishment on him is Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson does win. It wins via KO. I think Zellhuber does. If you go watch, I think Johnson's skilled enough to go in there and look at some of those combinations and some of those exchanges, be able to realize if he aims for a slip and get the overhand right, he has the power to finish him at 155. Also, is Zellhuber going to be a little bit more compromised on a cut like that? Again, really one situation that I would, like I said, one of the things I would love to just explore more in some aspects is just like Zellhuber's a 165 guy. You know what I mean? Like he cutting to 155 from 170. Truly, this guy's a 165er, and this is something that I would love for the UFC to address in terms of like, yes, I think that division of the welterweight is super deadly, but I think actually splitting up some of these guys and the 16-pound cut on fight difference is just, it's so unbalanced for some of these guys in here. And I think Zellhuber is one of those that super has to compromise his weight cut. That could be something that benefits Johnson because I think Johnson is going to be way stronger in there. And I think that's one reason why Zellhuber went down to lightweights because he really, Rabovic was just brawling with him and he couldn't do the damage over the time, and eventually he took the damage. So I do think Johnson's live for a win. I think Zellhuber could be compromised from a weight cut and could absolutely get finished here. But I think Zellhuber's also really talented, and I think he'll be really conservative, and I think he'll take his time and win by decision against Johnson. Mad respect for one another, but I go with Zellhuber here. But again, I think Johnson's live for a KO win if he can get in there, do a little slip, something that Zellhuber's just kind of a little bit into, and kind of like, not like, you've seen Johnson finish some guys, man, some absolute vicious, power. Can also get finished himself, and should be an exciting one. Next up, featherweight bout, 50K, Dan Ige, 19-9, coming off a win versus Patricio Pitbull, 36-8, coming off a loss to Yair. And yeah, I think this is a Dan Ige spot. I think he's favored for a reason. I think this is a fade on Bellator as well. Nothing personal against Patricio. The love comes quick and the love leaves quick here in the fight game. I just don't think this is a matchup that just the way Dan Ige was putting it on Sean Woodson, bro, I just think it's going to be something similar. He's really good, man. He's really good. What's Dan Ige's most recent loss? A freaking fight that he picked up the day of, and then he lost to Leroy Murphy, which is not a bad fight. Murphy fights like a point fighter, so it's not a surprise that Dan Ige is going to struggle against somebody like that. Yeah, I think this is an Ige spot. I do think somehow Pitbull's going to have to put him out, which is another thing. Pitbull is never put out, or Dan Ige's never been put out. come on, man. You want like what's like you really expect me to think Patricio Pitbull's gonna outpoint my guy, potentially finish him on a win condition? Dude, I just think the levels in the UFC are so extreme. I just think they're so extreme, and you're giving him a top 11 proven veteran who, no matter who he loses to, is actually always live to beat somebody. He's been against seriously some of the best fighters in the division's history: Barbosa, Qatar, Josh Emmett, Uli Lavoyev, Damon Jackson, Bryce Mitchell, Diego Lopes, Murphy, like Sean Woodson, all ranked guys like Dan Ige, bro. I think he walks him. I think he could get a finish, and I'm gonna feel sad picking that with my guy Patricio, but I'm on the Dan Ige train here, dude. Let's go, baby. Next up, welterweight bout. Kevin Holland, 28-13 in one no contest, coming off a win versus D-Rod, 19-5, coming off a win. 7-inch reach advantage for Holland here, and I know a lot of people like Holland inside the distance here. I think this is a prime Holland decision spot. Yeah, I think he's not going to risk it at all. I think he knows he's more athletic. He's faster, stronger. I think you'll see him kind of be a really boring fighter and, just try and piece apart D-Rod, slow and steady, not really have a, sense of urgency. I think he's not going to really want to grapple so much against some of these big, I just think that Dolezdi fight changed him. That plus the Renier fight, he's just like, all right, man, we're going against, we're D-Rod here. I like Kevin Holland here by decision. I know a lot of people like him inside the distance. I just feel like it's kind of, D-Rod don't get finished, man. This is another thing. Like, Luque's a guy that gets finished, absolutely, right? But, like, D-Rod don't get finished. One KO loss, one submission loss, and he got KO'd by Ian Gary. Like, I don't know if Kevin Holland's going to have the urgency and even personally kind of set him up and have a game plan, right? And Neil Magny subbed him. So I could definitely see, I think I could see Kevin Holland as some form of Ian Gary plus Neil Magny, somewhere in between if you melded them and had a skill set. He does have good grapple game, does have good striking. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I'm just on the. I think it kind of reminds me of that Gaslam fight. So I got Holland here by decision. I just think I know Kevin wants to get out there early. He wants to have a little bit of fight time, so maybe he does press that, and that's where everybody's kind of leaning towards. I'm kind of thinking he just doesn't. I think D-Rod's super mechanical, he's very well techniqued. I just think he's gonna lose in volume over the time. There's somebody like Kevin who's just got a massive advantage in youth, in spring, in that kinetic chain. I love Kevin Holland, and I'm picking him here to win. Let's go, baby. Co-main event, middleweight bout. Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. Paulo Costa, 14-4, coming off a loss versus Roman Kopylov, 14-3, coming off a win here. And, I think this is one where I look at the odds, and I think the books got it wrong. It's something like the Derek Lewis-Teixeira fight. It's like if you guys actually watch these guys against high-level competition, the performances are vastly different. Kopylov got ran through by Hernandez, and I was on him so heavy there. Yeah, he kind of got fortunate for the stoppage against Chris Curtis, could have lost that fight, and then a split decision win against Cesar Almeida. The guys that he finished, all things considered, were definitely not as tough as Paulo Costa. I'm picking Paulo Costa here. I know there's not much to go on if you really want to nitpick. He had the, loss to Strickland, split decision, which it was unanimous loss. He had the kick against Whitaker. Other than that, what did he win against Rockhold? A loss against Vittori, loss against Adesanya. So it has not looked good for him in a long time. But this is also a spot where I think I just look at it and you're giving me, like, I think the pick is Paulo Costa plus money. Like, he's just a better fighter. 3 rounds, he's going to do damage. We've seen, in my opinion here, once Kopylov gets hurt, mid-second round, I think Costa's going to get a finish late. I think this fight gets, they kind of exchange wear and tear on each other, heavy hitters, not going to get too much movement. I think Costa is a better athlete. I think he's got better power. I think Kopylov, he has that finishing ability, but again, the more and more you watch his more recent fights, he hasn't been the same. I mean, once he got hurt and taken down, he got damaged against Hernandez, he was a different fighter. And I think Costa's more on the level of Hernandez than anybody else that he fought. You know, Chris Curtis, Cesar Almeida, Josh Freed, Polani Serrano, Alessandro Chirchio, Claudio Ribeiro. Like, these guys they're not Paulo Costa, bro. None of them are. The only one that's close is Hernandez. So I kind of think I understand why he's a big favorite. He's on a super big streak. He finishes super strong, super tough. I'm a huge Kopylov fan. I really am. One of my favorite fighters since I remember that Detricchio fight, because I had a Detricchio in there, and I was like, dude, this guy Kopylov rallied so hard, and he's done very well. But I just think there's a level to this game, and in the middle weights, I think he's going to struggle against some of these bigger, high-end middle weights. And I think Costa's the guy that he's going to be able to do damage via some kind of shot, turn the fight, and maybe get a finish and get a win. And, yeah, Costa here, baby, on the upset. Might be in the minority in a couple of these. I'm on the old heads here in the middle weights on Costa, on freaking Vettori. We'll see. They're big underdogs. I can definitely see Kopylov decision here, but yeah, rock and roll. Next up, baby, moment of silence for the Diamond versus Max Holloway. Blessed up to have this matchup. Send him off. Wow, lightweight fight. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know what to say. Holloway a slight favorite, 26-8, coming off a loss against Poirier, knocked out. Poirier 30-9, coming off the loss to Makhachev, finished the 4th round. Both these guys coming off title bout losses. There was a 5th round for Darce choke. Is Holloway's chin compromised? Right. Dustin's gonna want to go out on his shield. There's no doubt about that. The only thing I can kind of see is I know MMA math doesn't exist, but so the second fight against Gaethje just looked faster, stronger, cleaner. Does Max bring that to the table like he did against Gaethje as a lightweight? Faster, stronger, cleaner, feels more comfortable. I know he's coming off a compromised win, and he never, that could be something that Poirier's going to put it on him, man. He's a big hitter. He's a big hitter, man. I'm picking Dustin. I just think Dustin will get it done. I think it goes to the card. I think Dustin will get it done. I think it will be an absolute epic matchup. I can't see either of these guys getting finished. I can definitely see, like, I don't know, man. If anybody, is it Holloway getting finished? Bro, I mean, Poirier does get finished himself, too. Head kick, finish. Lost to Oliveira, lost to, it's going to be an absolute war. I'm going to pick Poirier one last time because we can always go pick Holloway next time. I'll never be able to pick Dustin again. So I'm going to go out on Dustin. I think he gets it done, man. I do think he's better lightweight than Max Holloway is a lightweight at this moment, too. I do think Holloway still has a chance to rebound. I mean, he's still super young, but you don't want these guys stacking losses. But man, oh man, this one should be good. I'm already getting a little choked up, a little teary-eyed, so I'm gonna just do a quick recap. This is like watch and enjoy. There's not much to break down. We're just gonna see two legends absolutely going at it. Basically the highest level sparring matchup with the Dyers of consequences on the line. And whatever's being said, Dustin Poirier, in my opinion, is a world champion against Max Holloway, former world champion. I think Poirier over McGregor, with Khabib never fighting after that, is good enough to call him an undisputed champion in my mind. So that being said, I think he goes out one more time. Boy, he's such a great fighter, man. It was such an honor, such a privilege to watch all the Poirier fights. I mean, from the 5th round against Dan Hooker being maybe one of the greatest rounds that we've ever seen. It's one that you always have to talk about. Lost to Khabib. He had a chance. He had him. He really did. He couldn't. Just missed a gilly. McGregor comebacks. Lost to Oliveira brutally. Lost to Makhachev brutally. Finished. Lost to Gaethje. Rebounds against St. Denis and Chandler. Some absolute magical finishes and some absolute great mayhems. End yourself on a fight here against a legend. Legends only for Poirier. Let's pick him one more time, ladies and gentlemen. do a quick little recap here before I get too emotional here. We're gonna do Judas Ferreira, Ryan Spann, Jimmy Crute, Dulatov, all favorites on the early bout. Going against Gaeta, Varenikov, Vittori, Oliveira, Zellhuber, Ige, Dan Holland, Paulo Costa, and Dustin Poirier. Thank you guys for supporting. Like, comment, subscribe. Pick your winners in the comments section. 100% winners. I'll send you $100. Thank you guys so much. Sorry the video's a little late this week. A lot of life stuff going on, but I love being here. Love talking to you about the fights. Can't wait to watch them over the weekend. And thank you guys so much. Take care of yourselves, your friends, your family. Peace and love, everybody.